Like, I'm ready to fucking go, and I'm like,
Oh no.
what's going on here? Everything good?
I just
Not causing trouble, I hope.
I fisted the Warforged and fixed their soul.
How about you don't fist
you have to
people,
put it that way?
Gizmo?
It was consensual.
I'm so
It
sorry,
really
sir.
wasn't.
Did he touch you anywhere that you didn't want to be touched?
It's fine. It's fine. All comes out in the wash. He's helped me out a load, actually.
Actually,
And
appropriate,
okay.
I suppose.
I helped you out unload.
the human that's next to him kind of looks at you all with this look of, another crew.
Yeah, that was actually appropriate clip for today. I was still trying to configure things, but you rated, so you're here. We got 20 seconds left to the dead. Oh, if it's not scuffed, it's not streaming. I had just uploaded the new updated let's do that, and then just updated the book. Gotta do that for every stream. There we go. Okay. Now we minimize. Yep. Yes, we're cooking with gas. Welcome back, everyone. Hello, it's Vexing Cat. Thank you so much, Raiders. Thank you, Wild, for sharing the Dreadship community with me. That is a wild ride, and I hope you guys are ready to relax. We're actually reading a different story today. This one is titled "In the Court of King Arthur." This was released in 1918 by an author named Samuel E. Lowe. Now, I have been doing a little bit of research trying to find out more about Samuel E. Lowe. Haven't found a ton of information. This feels a little bit like other 1900s authors. They're just kind of predating unless they were really, really, really famous. They didn't have dedicated wiki pages or dedicated biographies or what have you. Ah, yes, I am doing quite well. And but yes, Samuel E. Lowe. What I did find was, hold on, ba. So, from what I've been able to tell, this author lived during like 1852 to 1923, I believe. Have not been able to confirm that, so just tentatively. Hi, Carrick, Yuki, welcome, Raiders. If you're not familiar with my work, my name is Vexing Cat. I primarily read classic literature and poetry. I'm a little scuffed because I'm still not quite used to streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but my IRL, well, my day job, we'll say that, not my in real life, but my day job keeps me busy on Fridays now, so I cannot stream at my normal time. Grab this here, close that, open this, bonk. All right. I think the frame looks good. The book looks good. I look good. Huzzah! We're practically cooking with gas here. All right, I've got my water, I got my coffee, I've got all of my needs being met. I think we're almost there, tentatively. There was an OBS update. Okay, that was scuff. Then I needed to connect to Elgato Marketplace to make sure that the Stream Deck was working. Is that? Oh, thank you so much. I don't know why my alerts are such weirdly shaped in sizes. It's just yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll work on that during
Hydrate or dihydrate?
yes, hydrate or dihydrate. I will work on that a little bit during our break. Yes. Okay. Thank you. I promise I will. Ah, goodness gracious. Okay. While I'm thinking about it, let me grab that. Oh my goodness. Get love done, nerd. Yeah, that's accurate. That is accurate. Thank you. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. I think it's if I do this, if I do this, if I do this, properties, spoiled child. Hello. Hey, Saren, welcome in. I think, therefore, I am Confucian. I just don't know why the font is so strangely. Like, why are you like this? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Selecting all. Making sure this is, opacity, layout. Oh my goodness gracious. Opacity. Why is this font so tiny? I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. I'm going to have to do that from my browser, I think. Anyway, we are going to be covering In the Court of King Arthur. There's about 200 pages, so this will probably be a 2-stream book, I believe. Go back over here. And we'll close that. Da da da. Okay. Hey, Monoma, welcome in. You guys are entirely too kind to me when I feel like such a klutz today, but we're here and we ball, as my good friend Space would say. Fuck it, we ball. Yeah, I don't know why I've been so stressed out lately. I've been very anxious. Even earlier today, I was anxious. And it's nice that I can kind of just relax and enjoy a good story. And sharing it with all of you is part of what makes streaming worthwhile for me. So it's cool. We're cool. We're cool. Yeah, we're cool. Hydrate. My God. Okay, I'll drink. I'll drink. Mm-hmm. Mm. Ah, well, Fallen, Yuki, you guys are part of what makes this streaming amazing for me. Is the kindness. Schwarzgeist, thank you for the biddies. Wild, thank you for the raid. I think I'm in a headspace. Like I said, this is the cover from the 1918 edition of this book. There were actually, I believe, gosh, I think there were 49 editions of this book. It just kept getting reprinted over and over and over since 1918. Very popular. Originally produced by the Whitman Publishing Co. here in Wisconsin, in America. But this book, like, there's little information here in the side margin, you know, the 1918 when it was produced. Art, there's a little bit of art in this book from the artist Neil O'Keefe. I don't think any relation to the famous painter O'Keefe, but beautiful artwork. Amazing line work. I'm pretty sure that this was originally produced by Pen and Ink, and then they went and did either a lithograph or a copper metal etching to reprint that particular image over and over again. Anyway, everyone, I'm ready. If you're ready, let's go! I will place character above riches and concern for others above personal wealth. That's a solid quote. The only quote I think I have for the author was something about princesses and dragons. Let me see if I can grab that again. Sometimes it's the princess who kills the dragon and saves the prince. Now that's a principle that was not applied in much literature from this era, so I think it's an interesting concept for him to write with. He had notable other works. 50 Famous Stories was a collection of stories he did with Viola E. Jacobson. He did Jumbo the Elephant Comes Home, Stories of Early America, Father Bear and Bobby Bear, Toot Toot, Here Comes the Train, Clang Clang, Here Comes the Fire Engine, Clang Clang, Here Comes the Trolley. Bobo the Pig is Good and Bad, and a few other stories. But he mostly wrote for children, for young education, for people to get inspired and immersed in story and fantasy. So let's get into that a little bit. My only familiarity with any of this literature is from Monty Python. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, to Camelot, yes. Let's see here. So we have a total of 31 chapters. And it's kind of an interesting detail that they put on the page as far as the header. They really wanted to make sure you knew which book you were reading. So it's kind of cute. How do you know she's a witch? Probably because I'm well read and I float. I think that's how that works. Yes, the hag is speaking. All right, let's. We are starting in the court of King Arthur. Where's the thing that I need? Pop that one. There we go. Okay, that's gonna be a problem. Yeah, I'm gonna have to set that to a different key. Scuff! We love it. We live on it. It is our bread and water. Nope. It's not gonna like that one. So we're gonna choose you. And we're gonna choose you. Yes, veto tube has failed me once again. So now here. There we go. Yay! We're good. We're good. All right, in the court of King Arthur. Chapter 1. Alan finds a champion. I cannot carry your message, Sir Knight. Quiet-spoken was the lad, though his heart held a moment's fear, as scowling and menacing the knight who sat so easily the large horse flamed fury at his refusal. And why can you not? It is no idle play, boy, to flaunt Sir Pellamore. Brave knights have found the truth of this at bitter cost. Nevertheless, Sir Knight, you must needs find another message-bearer. I am page to Sir Percival, and he would deem it no service to him should I bear a strange knight's message. Then, by my faith, you shall learn your lesson. Since you are but a youth, it would prove but poor sport to thrust my sword through your worthless body. Yet shall I find Sir Percival and make him pay for the boorishness of his page. In the meantime, take you this. With a sweep, the speaker brought the flat side of his sword down, but if perchance he thought that the boy would await the blow, he found surprise for that worthy, skillfully evaded the weapon's downward thrust. Now then was Sir Pellamore doubly wroth. Odds zounds, and you need a trouncing, and so shall I give it you, else my dignity would not hold its place. Suiting action to word, the knight reared his horse, preparing to bring the boy to earth. It might have gone ill with Alan, but for the appearance at the turn of the road of another figure, also on horseback. The new knight, perceiving trouble, rode forward. "What do we see here?" he questioned. "Sir Knight, whose name I do not know, it seems to me that you are in poor business to quarrel with so youthful a foe. What say you?" "As to with whom I quarrel is no concern of anyone but myself. I can, however, to suit the purpose, change my foe. Such trouncing as I wish to give this lad I could easily give to you, Sir Knight, and you wish it. You can do no more than try. It may not be so easy as your boasting would seeming indicate, lad." And the newcomer turned to the boy. "Why does the arrogant knight wish you harm?" "He would have me carry a message, a challenge to Sir Kay, and that I cannot do, for even now I bear a message from Sir Percival, whose page I am but yesterday become. And I must hold true to my own lord and liege. True words and well spoken. And so for you, Sir Knight of the arrogant tongue, I hope your weapon speaks equally well. Prepare you, sir." Sir Pellamore laughed loudly and disdainfully. "I call this great fortune which brings me battle with you, sir, who are unknown, but who I hope none the less are a true and brave knight." The next second, the two horses crashed together. Sir Pellamore soon proved his skill. The unknown, equally at ease, contented himself with meeting onslaught after onslaught, parrying clever thrusts and wicked blows. So they battled for many an hour. Alan, the boy, with eyes glistening, waited to see the outcome of the brave fight. The unknown, his champion, perhaps, would need his aid through some dire misfortune, and he was prepared. Well, let's see. I've got there. I'll have both types of captions enabled in case anyone needs them. There we go. By my goodness. Save. There we go. Now, the unknown changed his method from one of defense to one of offense, but Sir Pellamore was none the less skillful. The third charge of his foe he met so skillfully that both horses crashed to the ground. On foot, the two men then fought well and long, until through inadvertence the unknown's foot slipped, and the next moment found his shield splintered and sword broken. Now then, by my guardian saint, you are truly vanquished, Sir Pellamore exclaimed exultantly. Say you so? But the unknown had already hurled himself weaponless upon the seeming victor, and seizing him about the waist with mighty strength, hurled him to the ground. And even as the fallen knight, much shaken, prepared to arise, lo, Merlin the wizard appeared and cast him into a deep sleep. Sire, the wizard declared, do you indeed run many dangers that thy station should not warrant? And yet I know not whether we, your loyal subjects, would have it otherwise. Now Alan, the boy, realized he was in the presence of the great king. He threw himself upon his knees. Rise, lad, said King Arthur kindly. Sir Percival is indeed fortunate to have a page who, while so young, yet is so loyal. So shall we see you again, kind Merlin. And the king turned to the wizard. Awaken you this sleeping knight, whose only sin seems an undue amount of surliness and arrogance, which his bravery and strength more than offset. Now Sir Pellamore rubbed his eyes. Where am I? Where am I? He muttered drowsily. Then, as realization came, he sprang to his feet. Know you then Sir Pellamore, said Merlin. He with whom you fought is none other than Arthur the king. The king stood motionless. The knight stood motionless, dumbfounded, but only for a moment. If so, then am I prepared for such punishment as may come, but be it what it may, I can say this, that none with whom I fought has had more skill or has shown greater bravery and chivalry, and more than that none can say. And the knight bowed low his head, humbly, and yet with a touch of pride. Thou art a brave knight, Sir Pellamore, and to us it seems that, aside from a hasty temper, thou couldst well honor us by joining the knights of the Round Table. What sayest thou? That shall I gladly do. And here and now I pledge my loyalty to none other than Arthur, King of Britain, and to my fellow knights. And as for you, boy, I say it now, that my harsh tongue and temper ill became the true knight I claim to be. Brave words, Sir Pellamore, said the king. So let us back to the castle. We see that Merlin is already ill at ease. Chapter 2. Alan goes forth. So then, I'm going to take a second and process. So it seems that this story is taking place after some of the classic adventures of King Arthur. We have, I'm assuming he's already made it to be the king, which means he pulled the sword from the stone. He's gone through some adventures already. He's already established his kingdom and the Round Table. So there's some stuff that this telling is glossing over. So I'm kind of curious to see where this is going to go. But as a friendly reminder, between chapters, we hydrate, we caffeinate, we grab a snack, we do what we need to do to get started on the next chapter. Fresh water. Excellent. Okay. Chapter 2. Alan Goes Forth. So then the four, the good knight, Sir Palamore, Merlin the wizard, and Alan, page to Sir Percival, came to the great castle of Britain's king. Arthur led them into the great hall, in which were placed many small tables, and in the centre of them all was one of exceeding size, and round. Here was to be found a place for Sir Palamore, but though the king searched long, few seats did he find which were not bespoken. Yet finally he found one which did well for the new arrival. Here then shall you find your place at the round table, good knight, said the king, and we trust that you will bring renown and honour to your fellowship, succour to those who are in need, and that always will you show true chivalry. And we doubt not but you will do all of these. Sir Palamore bowed low his head, nor did he make reply, because within him surged a great feeling of gratitude. The king turned away, and Merlin followed him to the upraised dais. So now the two seated themselves and joined in earnest talk. At the door Alan had waited, for he would not depart till his majesty had seated himself. A strange gladness was in the boy's heart, for had not his king fought for him? Here in this court he too would find adventure. Sir Percival mayhap some day would dub him knight. Should he prove faithful and worthy, what greater glory could there be than to fight for such a king and with such brave men? But I must be off, he suddenly bethought himself, else Sir Percival will not be pleased. And therewith he made great haste to depart. Ay, sire, Merlin was now speaking, my dream is indeed weighted with importance, but by the same token it cannot be known until you call your court together, so that it may be heard by all. Then mean you, kind Merlin, that we must call not only those to the round table, but all other knights and even pages and squires? Even so, sire. And yet, since Whitsunday is but a few days away, that should be no hard matter for the knights of your court, except Sir Launcelot and Sir Gawain. Gawain? Sir Gawain are here, prepared for such tourneys and feasts, fit to celebrate that day. So then shall it be. Even now our heralds shall announce that we crave the attendance of all those who pledge loyalty to our court, for I know well that they must be of no mean import. These things we shall hear. We pray only that they shall be for our good fortune. The wizard, making no reply, bent low and kissed his king's hand. Then he departed. Came now his herald, whom the king had summoned. See to it that our court assembles this time tomorrow. Make far and distant outcry, so that all who are within ear may hear, and so hurry to our call. And mark you this well. We would have Sir Launcelot and our own nephew, Sir Gawain, present, even though they departed this early morn for Cornwall. See you to it. Swiftly the herald made for the door to carry out the commands of his king, but even as he reached it, Arthur called again to him. We have a fancy, good herald, we fain would have you follow. Ask, then, Sir Percival to let us have the services of his page, who seems a likely youth, and bid this youth go hence after the two absent knights, Sir Gawain and Sir Launcelot, and give to them our message, beseeching their return. Tell not the boy it is we who have asked that he go. It shall be done as you will, sire, replied the herald. No surprise did he show at the strangeness of the king's command, for long had he been in his service, and well he knew the king's strange fancies. Sir Percival gave ready consent when found. So when the boy had returned from the errand forspoken, the herald announced that he must hasten after the 2 knights and bid them return. And by my faith, lad, you have but little time, and you must speed well, for tomorrow at this time is this conclave called, and the 2 knights are already many miles on their journey. Take you this horse and hasten. Then, as the eager youth, quick-pulsed, made haste to obey, the herald added in kindly voice, "It would be well could you succeed, lad, for it is often true that through such missions newcomers prove future worthiness for knighthood." "I thank you greatly for your kindness," replied the boy. "I can but try to the uttermost. No rest shall I have until I meet with the 2 knights." So now Alan sought out and bespoke his own lord. "I wish you well, Alan," said Sir Percival, "and say you to my friends Launcelot and Gawain, should they prove reluctant, that they will favor their comrade Sir Percival if they would make haste and hurry their return. Stop not to pick quarrel, nor to heed any call, urgent though it may seem. Prove my true page and worthy." "I shall do my very best, my lord, and this my first commission shall prove successful, even though to make it so I perish." Swiftly now rode forth the boyish figure. Well too had Arthur chosen. Came a day when than Alan no braver, truer knight there was, but of that anon. We're cooking. We're cooking through this story pretty fast already. But we are between chapters, so as per usual, hydrate, caffeinate, grab a snack, do whatever you need to do to enjoy the story. So we are... I think I've got my captions are working. The alerts are a little wonky. I'll work on those. Yeah, okay. So before we get further into story, I want to kind of touch bases and say hello to everybody. Jules, Valis, thank you for being here, being my moderators. It looks like Valen is here as well. Thank you. Some of the VIPs from Underrealm, we've got Devi, Yuki, Tiny, Panda, all here. Some of the readers that I've got, it looks like I've got a few. Also, genuine followers, Bardic Inconvenience, Bojangle, Butterbean VT, Ali, Alan, and Bill the Duck, another great reader here on Twitch. We got Ambi Shifter, Deus, welcome in. Another, well, variety streamer, I would say. Deus is a reader, he is a gamer, he is just a wonderful streamer. And if you haven't caught his content, I highly recommend it. We've got Device Serial, Disney Dreamer, Eldritch Nirvana, what a great name. Fallen Thespian, one of the great ones. Grim Glassman, an amazing artist here on Twitch. He does glass work. We've got Gringotts Underwriter. Hallucigeno, Higtastic, another gaming streamer. Very exciting. Carrick, welcome in. Monoma, always good to see you. Neftarath, the Lore Keeper, one of the best, arguably the best booktuber in my estimation here on Twitch. We've got Swartzgeist. I love seeing you here, and thank you again for the gifted biddies. Insomnia, wonderful seeing you, and the Starlight VT. It's great having all of you here. Me mentioned. Yes. Yeah. If you're hydrating with Dr. Pepper, that's fine. And a friendly reminder, this stream is for a mature audience of 18 or older. If you are a minor, I would appreciate it if you would vacate my library. There, we have a children's section. It's just not here. It's at your local library where it belongs. Anyway, we're on to the 3rd chapter. I'm old, but definitely not mature. I don't know, I feel like I'm old and mature, but then I'm told it's like, woman, you don't sound like you're 40, but well, I am. So, I just try to make effort to stay current with, educating myself. Keep your fingers on the pulse of events and history and knowledge and technology as it happens. Thank you, Devi. Oh, hey, make the joke anyway. I'm sure it's still good. But yes, for those of you not familiar with Underrealm, Underrealm is this community server and community of streamers that I joined. We're working on building a team. So if you're not already following Wildosis, Jules, can I get another shout out for Wild? So Wildosis is who we're kind of focused on getting to partner first, so he can create the team for us. I think he's the closest to hitting those numbers.
I'm
There
gonna
we go.
like kind of like grab her shoulders and like look at this jacket, like really like
This is a great
look at
clip,
it
by the way.
and see if I can
And
pick
relevant.
anything out that I might recognize.
Yeah. Do an investigation check.
Oh no.
Great job.
Wow.
Oh, no,
Oh no. The
that one
roll
is
is
great.
cursed.
It might be a jacket with a natural one. It might be a jacket.
Velvet
Could
vest
also
and
be a
shiny
coat.
fabric.
That is an amazing
It's made
roll.
of some kind of fabric.
So in that clip, we had a number of Underrealm folks. We had Tiny Draculina. We had Aloria, the Oni, amazing. We had Kanarashi, who is our Sharkuza. We had Red Lethal Panda, who is our resident small furry boy. And of course, Wild himself. And then my brain is just absolutely Starfina. Starry is another another amazing streamer. Well, they're going to be. They're pre-debut, so I can't say too much. And then of course we've got is it Deuce? Deuce is the sixth person, right, in that combo? I don't know. They just came off a different campaign fairly recently, so I'm all twisted up with who's who and what. Let's see. Grab that. Da 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 da. Yes. So that is from the Dreadship Grimdark. That is the current ongoing D&D campaign. I do believe it's Deuce is the lightning giant, right? My brain is oh my goodness.
Hydrate or dihydrate?
Hydrate or dihydrate. Yes, that seems like a smart plan. Yeah, Deuce is Eric. Okay, I'm just feel like I'm losing it sometimes. But yes, so those are all Underrealm folks, mostly Gen 1, Ken being the exception as a Gen 2, but we are all part of this larger community and we're building something pretty great. So if you're not already a part of the Underrealm Discord server, check it out. We have a dedicated streamer role, which opens up the self-promo channel where you can promote your own content. We have a looking for groups section if you wanted to look for other streamers to collab with or do hydrate. No. Yeah, the group is very chill. And we're still a ways out before I think we do our applications for Gen 3, but I love the group of folks that I'm working with now. I love how supportive everyone is, how we raid into each other. Yes. What's going on, Starlight? I love how we bounce ideas off of each other. We're supporting each other in our various skill sets. So like Deuce and Wild, they've both done, a lot of experience in music. Devi is this amazing like editor. Ken is this high energy idea machine. Aw, Underelms are the sweetest. It's true. Yeah. Everybody's really kind, very supportive. It's an amazing community. So if you're not already a part of it, I suggest you join. And honestly, I would say the VC culture is pretty immaculate as well. There's some really good folks that hang out at various times during the day for gaming and just chilling and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I put in a little bit of work, kind of tidying up and organizing the server. Yeah, Luca Nasu is another Gen 2, like Yuki and I. They are very good at organizing. It's true. Yuki chronically in VC. No, Yuki, you are #1 hype girl. You're super supportive. You're always willing to be there to like bounce ideas off of. I think the only thing that is problematic is sometimes the differential in time zones. Like between you and I think it's 16 hours. So the fact that you're here right now is wild. It's wild to me. It must be absurdly early. On Thursday? It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow where you are, Yuki. Yes, with the cute little snow leopard. So Yuki is another cat girl like me. She is a twin-tailed snow leopardess who is also a baker, which if you haven't seen her content, 10 out of 10. Super heckin' sweet. I would absolutely. I will bully everyone. I'm a big scary lady. It's my prerogative to be big and mean and scary. A bit of Wasser. And let's get back to it. Bonk. And there we go. Rar the tiger cat, indeed. Chapter 3. A combat. Yes, Manama, I'm very scary. Good Lancelot, I trust that good fortune shall be with us, and that our adventures be many, and the knights we meet bold and brave. Of that, Gawain, we need have no fear. For adventure ever follows where one seeks, and often enough overtakes the seeker.
Mommy? Sorry.
Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Sorry. Yes, I suppose. I deserve that. Let us rather hope that we shall find Sir Tristram, and Sir
Hydrate or dihydrate?
Dinadean? What a name. Yes, Deus. I will hydrate. Okay. All right. Sir Dinadean, both of Cornwall, for myself, I would joust with Sir Tristram, than whom braver and bolder knight does not live. And as for me, spoke Gawain, my anxiety is to see Mark, the king of Cornwall, and tell him to his face that I deem him a scurvy hound, since he promised protection to Beatrice of Banizar as she passed through his lands, and yet broke his promise, and so holds her for ransom. And there shall I help you, dear Gawain, for bitterly shall Mark rue his unknightly act. His unknightly act. Yeah, good enough. Sometimes the subtitles are a little off. Like whenever I say the word Devi. Oh, it actually did it correctly. There we go. Yay! Shall I even wait for my event with Sir Tristram until your business is done? Cornwall used to be the county that made me the most money. Aye, and gladly will Sir Tristram wait. I wot, if he deems it... I what? I what? That's the most British word ever. I wot, if he deems it honour to meet with Sir Lancelot du Lake. For no knight there is who doth not know of your prowess and repute, Sir Tristram least of all. Kind words, Gawain, for which I thank you. Yet, if I mistake not, yonder adventurer seems to wait, and we but a little more than 20 miles from our gates. Ahead of them, and barring their way, were 10 knights. Lancelot and Gawain stopped not a moment their pace, but rode boldly forward. "And wherefore do you, strange knights, dispute our passage?" asked Sir Gawain. "Safely may you both pass, unless you be gentlemen of King Arthur's court," quoth the leader, who stepped forward to answer. And what if we be, Sir Knight?" replied Sir Launcelot mildly. "And if you be, then must you battle to the uttermost, for we owe loyalty to King Rience, who is enemy of King Arthur. Therefore are we his enemies too, and enemies also of all of King Arthur's subjects, and thus we flaunt our enmity. We here and now call King Arthur an upstart, and if you be of his court, you cannot be aught else but fight with us." "Keep you your words," said Sir Gawain, "until we have ceased our quarrel. Then if you will, you may call Arthur any names. Prepare you." Boldly Sir Launcelot and Sir Gawain charged upon the foe, nor did the knights who met them know who these two were, else milder were their tone. Such was the valor of the two, and such their strength, that 4 men were thrown from their horses in that first attack, and of these 2 were grievously wounded. Together and well they fought. Easily did they withstand the men of King Rience. 4 men were slain by their might through wondrous and fearful strokes, and 4 were sorely wounded. There lay the 4 against an oaken tree, where they had been placed in a moment's lull. But 2 knights were left to oppose Lancelot and Gawain, but these 2 were gallant men and worthy, the very best of all the 10. So they fought again, each with a single foe. Hard pressed were the 2 men of King Rience, yet stubbornly they would not give way. And as each side gave blow for blow, so called, "For Arthur," or "For Rience," whichever the case might be, many hours they fought, until at last Sir Launcelot, by a powerful blow, crushed both foe and foe's horse to the ground. And as the other would further combat, though exceedingly weak, Sir Launcelot, upraised lance in hand, by a swift stroke smote sword from out of his weakened grasp. "Thou art a brave knight, friend, and having fought so well, I ask no further penance but this, that you do now declare King Arthur no upstart. I care not for your enmity, but I will abide no slander. So must I then declare, since you have proven better man than I," declared the conquered knight, "and for your leniency I owe you thanks. Wherefore then, to whom am I grateful? I pray your name." "That I shall not tell until I hear your own," replied Lancelot. "I am known as Ronald de Lisle," the other replied in subdued tone. "Truly and well have I heard of you as a brave knight," was the reply, "and now I know it to be so. I am Sir Launcelot du Lake. Then indeed is honor mine, and glory too, for honor it is to succumb to Sir Launcelot." But now both heard the voice of Gawain. Weak had he grown, but weaker still his foe. Gawain had brought the other to earth at last with swift and mighty blow, and such was the force of his stroke, the fallen man could not rise, although he made great ado so to do. "So must I yield," the knight declared. "Now will I admit Arthur no upstart, but though I die for it, I do declare no greater king than Rience ever lived." Welcome in, Lasada. Fix that, set that up right there. Okay. There we go. "By my faith, your words are but such as any knight must hold of his own sovereign prince. I cannot take offense at brave words, Sir Knight. Now give me your name, for you are strong and worthy." "I am Marvin, brother of him who fought with your comrade, and never have we met bolder and greater knights. I am Gawain, and he who fought your brother is none other than Lancelot. Then truly have we met no mean foes, replied the other, conquered, and conquerors now turned to make the wounded as comfortable as they well could be, after which our knights debated going on their journey or tarrying where they were until the morn. Let us wend our way until we find fit place for food and rest. There can we tarry. So spoke Lancelot, and the other agreed. Then they took leave of Sir Marvin and Sir Ronald, and so on their way. Not many miles did they go, however, before they found a suitable place. Late was the hour, and weary and much in need of rest were the two knights. So they slept while, half his journey covered, Allan sped onward, making fast time because he was but light of weight, and his horse exceeding swift. Like I said, these chapters are so fast. So we read 3 chapters in 1 hour. And we have 31. So I'm just rambling too much between chapters, I think. But we are between chapters, and before we read chapter 4, as a friendly reminder, hydrate, caffeinate, grab a snack, do whatever it is you need to relax and enjoy the story. Okay. Oh, wrong key. One of these. Time to stretch. Yeah, that's a good idea, Tess. Oh, big stretch. Oh, that was my spine. Whew. You're reading it. That's enough for me to enjoy it. Ah, kinder words. Very kind words. Thank you. Okay, grab the chapter marker. Boop. Chapter 4. Allan Meets the Knights. From the first day when Allan began to understand the tales of chivalry and knightly deeds, he fancied and longed for the day when he would grow into manhood, and by the same token into knighthood. Then would he go unto King Arthur on some Pentecost, and crave the boon of serving him. Mayhap, too, he would through brave and worthy deeds gain seat among those of the Round Table. So he would dream. This youth with eager eyes and his father Sir Gaunt soon came to know of his son's fancies, and was overly proud and pleased with them. For he himself had, in his days, been a great and worthy knight of many adventures and victor of many an onslaught. It pleased him that son of his would follow in his footsteps. When Allan was 14, Sir Gaunt proceeded to Sir Percival, who was great friend of his, and bespoke for his son the place of page. And so, to please Sir Gaunt and for friendship's sake, Sir Percival gave ready consent. Therewith he found the youth pleasing to the eye and of great willingness to serve. I'm just gonna... Okay. So must we return to Allan, who was now on his way for many an hour. As he made his way, he marvelled that he should have had notice brought upon himself, for he was young and diffident, and should by every token have escaped attention in these first days at court. How would his heart have grown tumultuous had he known that none other than Arthur himself had made him choice, but that he was not to know for many a year. Night came on, and the boy travelled far, yet gave he no thought to rest, for he knew that he could ill afford to tarry, and that only with the best of fortune could he overtake the 2 knights in time to make early return. About him the woods were dark and mysterious. Owls hooted now and then, and other sounds of the night there were. Yet was the boy so filled with urge of his mission that he found not time to think of ghosts nor black magic. Then, as he turned the road, he saw the dim shadow of a horse. ghostly it seemed, until through closer view it proved flesh and blood. Lying close by was a knight who seemed exceeding weak and sorely wounded. Quick from his horse came Allen, and so made the strange knight be of greater comfort. Now the knight spoke weakly. Grievously have I been dealt with by an outlaw band. This day was I to meet my two brothers, Sir Ronald and Sir Marvin, yet cannot proceed for very weakness. Which way do you go, lad? I keep on my way to Cornwall, replied Allen. From yonder do my brothers journey, and should you meet with them, bid them hasten here, so that together we can go forth to find this outlaw band and it chastise. That shall I do, Sir Knight. It grieves me that I may not stay and give you such aid as I may, but so must I hasten that I cannot. Yet shall I stop at first abode and commission them to hurry here to you. For that I thank you, lad, and should time ever come when you my aid require, know that to call on Philip of Guile. Gile? Gile or is it Guile? I mean, Guile is like Guile, but Gile maybe? So Allen pressed forward. At early dawn he came upon Sir Ronald and Sir Marvin, who had found rest along the wayside, and when he found that these were the two knights, he gave them their brother's message. Then must we hasten thence, Ronald, and thank you, lad, for bringing us this message. Choose you, and you can rest a while, and partake of such food that we have. Of food I will have, Sir Knights, for hunger calls most urgently. But tarry I cannot, for I must find Sir Launcelot and Sir Gawain. Mayhap you have met with them? Have they? Of a truth can we say that we have met with them and suffered thereby, yet do we hold proof as to their knightly valor and skill. They have gone but a little way, for it was their purpose to find rest nearby. We doubt not you will find them at the first fair abode. In the meantime must we hasten to our brother's aid, and leave our wounded comrades to such care as they may get. The knight spoke truly, for Allen found upon inquiry that the two he sought were lodged close by. Boldly the boy called, now for Sir Launcelot, now for Sir Gawain, but both were overtired and of a great weariness, and it took many minutes before at last Sir Launcelot opened wide his eyes. Watch as the knights give each other a long look. Yeah, we met them. I have just the emote for this. Hold on. Dun da 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 da. This one. Yeah. Yeah, we met them. Yeah, it seems appropriate. Okay. It is very extra, Saren. There have been some books that I've read that are like this. This is more in keeping with that 1900 style where it's just like, by the way, you're reading in the court of King Arthur on every page. It is very extra. I concur. And who are you, boy? For he knew himself. He knew him not. My name is Allen, and I am page to Sir Percival. Come you with a message from Sir Percival? Does he need our help? Nay, sir. Rather do I come with a message from the court, the herald of which sent me urging you and Sir Gawain to return before sundown, for a great conclave is to gather, which the king himself has called. Awaken then, thou sleepy-head, Sir Launcelot called to his comrade, who had not stirred. It were pity that all this must be told to you again. Sir Gawain now arose, rubbing eyes still filled with sleep. To him Allen repeated his message. What say you, Gawain? Shall we return? As for me, replied Sir Gawain, I would say no. What matter if we are or are not present? Already we are late for our present journey's purpose. So say I, let us not return, but rather ask this youth to bespeak for us the king's clemency. And I too am of the same mind, Gawain. So, lad? Sir Launcelot turned to the boy and spoke kindly. Return you to court and give them our message. This errand on which we are at present bound holds urgent need, else would we return at our king's behest. Rueful, and with a great gloom, Allan saw his errand fail. Kind sirs, Sir Percival bid me bespeak for him as well, and ask you as true comrades to make certain to return. Furthermore, my knights, this my first mission would be unfortunate if it did not terminate successfully, so I pray you that you return. Loud and long Sir Launcelot laughed, and yet not unkindly, while Sir Gawain placed hand upon the boy's shoulder approvingly. By my faith, Launcelot, we can do no more than return. That Percival speaks counts for much, but this youth's honor is also at stake. The light of laughter played in the speaker's eyes. Yes, said Sir Launcelot, let us return. It would be pity to send this lad back after his long journey without success. So then to our horses, and let us make haste. The hours are few and the miles many. Between chapters, friendly reminder, let's use up these guys. Yeah, we'll do that. Friendly reminder between chapters, hydrate, caffeinate, grab a snack, and enjoy the reading, as Lasada would do. There we go. And unamas. All right, I'll use up all my schnoozes, and that gives us a little breathing room. So we're on to chapter 5. Hydrate. That's a lot of water just straight out of the faucet. It will settle for my water bottle. Which, incidentally, what is this? 32 ounces? Yes, a 32-ounce water bottle, which I fill before every reading. And so in the span of that time, I get to drink a whole bunch of water. All right, we are on to chapter 5. Merlin's Message. Now, as the sun, a flaming golden ball about which played the wondrous, softer colors of filmy clouds, began sinking in the western horizon, the heralds announced everywhere that the time for assemblage had come. Of those few who were not present, chiefest were Sir Launcelot and Sir Gawain, and for these two the herald of King Arthur was searching the road in vain. Thank you, Sir Percival, these two will come. No, there's a question there. These two will come? The herald, anxious of tone, inquired. Our king would have them present, and I fancy not the making of excuse for their not appearing. It is hard telling, Sir Herald. Far hath the page to go, and he is young. Then, too, it is a question whether, should he meet with them, these two have a mind to appear. For I know that their journey to Cornwall is urgent. Now, the knights entered and found place. Then followed the pages, squires, and after them such yeomen and varlets as could find room. Varlets? Varlets? After each had found his place, came King Arthur leading his queen, and as they entered, up rose the knights, their vassals, I'm guessing all, that's gotta be all. All that were within the hall had raised a mighty shout. St. George and merry England, long live King Arthur, long live Queen Guinevere. Then turned the king toward his loyal subjects, and though his lips were seen to move, none heard him for the clamor. So King Arthur turned to seat his queen, and then he himself sat down upon his throne, high on the dais. Then, soon after, even as bell tolled the hour, Arthur arose. No sign had yet come of Launcelot and Gawain, so now the herald slipped to the door to cast again a hurried glance, for perchance that they might be within vision. And as he went noiselessly, so too a quiet fell that the king's words might be heard. But now, disturbing this quiet, came a great clattering. Arthur turned his eyes, frowning at the sudden noise, yet came a greater turmoil. Approaching horses' hoofs were heard, and then into the great hall thundered the steeds, carrying the noble figures of Lancelot and Gawain, followed but a pace behind by Alan the page. Straight to the dais they came, the two knights. Alan, however, made hasty exit, because he felt himself abashed to be observed by so many eyes. On foot he entered once again, and found place far in the rear where few could observe him. The two knights now dismounted, and knelt before their king. We pray your pardon for the lateness of our coming, yet did we hasten, and could not have come the sooner. That we feel is so, sir knights, for we know you well enough, nor are we wroth since come you did. But where, pray, is the message bearer? Truly his speed was great to have reached you in time for your return, and if I mistake not, added the king with great shrewdness, neither you, Gawain, nor you, Lancelot, were any too ready to return. How then did the lad urge you? You speak truly, sire, replied Gawain, for our errand had need of urgent haste, and we were loth to give it up. Yet did the boy urge us, and chiefest urge of all to us was where he claimed his own honor demanded the success of his mission. Those were fine words, so did we therefore return. Fine words indeed. Where then is this page? Will you, Sir Harold, bring him forth? So Alan came forward, red of face, and hating such womanness that would let him blush before all these great men, knelt he before his king. Blushing is womanness, apparently. I don't know, I like it when men blush. It's very cute. I think blushing is just cute in general. Let's see. If I can't make a man or woman blush, I'm not doing a very good job now, am I? You're cute. Got him. Also, hey Revy, welcome in. Knelt he before his king. Thou art a good lad, and will bear watching. Go thy way, and remember that the road ahead of those who wish to be knights of high nobility is steep and arduous, but well worth the trials. Remember that this day Britain's king said that some day thou wilt prove a worthy and brave knight. And as Alan, with flaming cheeks and glorious pride, went to his place far in the rear of the hall, the king turned to the assemblage. Merlin is here, but departs from us tomorrow for many a day. He has had a great dream which affects this court and us, and which must be told to all of you. So he has asked us to call you, and this we have done. Stand up now, Merlin, wisest of men and truest of counselors. Speak. Up rose Merlin, and for wonder as to what his dream might be, all held their breath. But the other night came Joseph of Arimathea to me while I slept. And he chided me that in all Britain so few of all the true and brave knights had thought to seek the wondrous Holy Grail, and which once was pride of all England. And methought I heard him say, truly do I misdoubt the valor of these knights who seek adventure and glory. Yet, said I, doubt not their valor, for can I give surety for it? For Holy Grail, every varlet, let alone those of true blood, would give his life and count it more than worthy. So shall it be, replied Sir Joseph, for the Holy Grail will be found, whether knight or varlet shall the finder be, I will not say. But this I tell you now, he who finds it shall be pure of heart and noble beyond all men. From whence he cometh, who he is, I will not say. Remember this, Merlin. Brave and noble knights there are now in England. Brave knights shall come, and some shall come as strangely as shall the Grail. Many deeds will be done that will bring truest of glory to England's name, and never again shall more noble or more worthy knights hold Britain's banner so high, for they who seek the Holy Grail must be worthy even of the search. Let your king beware that he listens well to all who come to his court on every Pentecost. And though they who search may not be overstrong, yet while they seek it, they will find in themselves many men's strength. And then he left me. But even after he was gone, I dreamt on, and I say to you, O men of England, go you forth and seek this Holy Grail. If within you know that you are pure of heart and noble, if you are not, go then and seek to be purified, for that is possible. Only one of you will find the Holy Grail, yet is there great glory in the search. May he who finds it and all the rest who search for it bring greater fame and worthiness to our land and to him who is our king. Now Merlin turned to seat himself, but yet before he found his place, every man within the hall stood up, prepared to make oath, then and there to begin the search. Only two kept still, nor did they move. One was Sir Launcelot, the other the youth Alan. But quick as they who upstood, Merlin spoke again, and though his voice was low, yet was it heard throughout the hall. Pledge not yourself today, nor yet tomorrow. Go you hence first. In your innermost heart find answer to the question, to this question, am I pure? Am I worthy for the search? For that you must be before any pledge suffices. Silent and thoughtful the men found each his seat, and when all had been seated, Arthur King arose. Wouldst that I felt myself worthy? Yet from this day shall I strive to the uttermost for the time when I shall feel that I am. And throughout the hall came answering vows. So shall we all. Within his heart Alan the youth felt a strange radiancy as he too made this vow. So shall I. Interesting. The story progresses. Very nice. Let's see. So we're between chapters. You know the drill. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the story. Stay hydrated. All right, grab this and that. Chapter 6. Yosalind. Now came Pentecost, and brought with it to King Arthur's tournament brave knights from everywhere. Distant Normandy, the far shores of Ireland, sent each the flower of its knighthood. Scotland's king was there, the brave Cadoris, to answer the challenge of the knight of Northgalis, who was also present. Bon, king of Northumberland, had come. Sir Palomides came too, and it was he who was declared by many to be the bravest and the most skillful of all of Britain's knights. Yet there were equal number and more who held the same for both Sir Launcelot and for Sir Tristram. Sir Lovecourt, leading 100 knights, came late, with the blessing of his father, who was none other than the King of Ireland. A brave show they all made, these many knights seeking adventure, and each, as he so easily bestrode his steed, found it hard matter to find comrade and friend, for the many who were there. Gay were the colours each knight wore, and on some fortune had smiled, for these carried token of some fair lady. Of fair ladies there were many to watch the deeds of skill and bravery, and most beautiful of them all was Arthur's queen, Guinevere. Sir Launcelot and Sir Gawain had found no need to journey to Cornwall, for word had come that Sir Tristram had had a bitter quarrel with King Mark, and had left his court carrying that wicked king's curse. Tristram had made final demands on the traitorous king to release the maiden Beatrice, whom he was holding for ransom, and this the king had had no mind to do. Then had the bold knight himself made for the door of the great dungeon, and with hilt of sword knocked long and loud to summon the keeper. And when the door was opened, this same keeper could not withstay him, nor would he. Then had Tristram carried the maiden to point of safety, and so earned her gratitude. Nor would any knight of King Mark take issue with him, for none felt the king's deed to be knightly. And though the king made pretense of bearing no ill will, yet did Sir Tristram leave Cornwall the same day. And Sir Gawain knew not whether to be pleased or otherwise at the news. I would have fancied making rescue of the Lady Beatrice myself, and fancied even more to have told King Mark, the scurvy knave I deem him. Yet I doubt not Sir Tristram did the deed well, and since it leaves me free to stay and have part in the jousting, I am not displeased. And methinks, added Sir Launcelot, Sir Tristram will make his way hither, for tournament such as this holds all alluring call. King Arthur, together with Bon of Northumberland and Sir Percival, were declared the judges for all but the last of the 3 days. Now then Sir Percival, finding a moment's brief respite, followed by his page, rode to the palace where sat his mother and 2 sisters. There he found Sir Uwaine, already in deep converse with Helene, who was the older of the 2 maidens, and whose knight he was. See you, son, there do be knights who find time to pay respect to us, even though our own are slower footed. So spoke the Lady Oland. Olande? Oland? I'm going with Oland. Lady Oland, yet did it jestingly, and with no intent to hurt, for she had great love for her son. And I doubt not Uwaine does make up for any seeming lack of mine, replied Sir Percival. If mother mine, I were not made a judge, my time would be more my own. But here I must have lost what manners I have been taught. Mother, this is Alan, who is my page, and these, Alan, are my sisters, Helene and Yoselind. Alan is son of Sir Gaunt, whom you all know. Forgive my not making you known before this lad. Pleasantly did the ladies greet him, and so well that he found no embarrassment therewith. And so now Sir Percival turned and spoke in low tones to his mother. Sir Uwaine and his lady walked away, claiming that they must give greeting to certain high ladies, and therewith left Alan, the boy, and Yoselind, who was even younger than he, to themselves. Alan strove to speak, but found he could not, and so sat on horse waiting, the girl calmly watching him from her place. Yet was there mischief in her eyes. "Aw, so cute." "If you would, you may dismount from your horse and find place hither. There is room, as you see," she suggested. The youth, the lad looked uncertain, yet Sir Percival had already found place next to his mother, and was now in earnest converse, so he found he could not do otherwise. Now Yoselind laughed at what showed so plainly his unwillingness to sit beside her. "I shall not bite you." "I might." "See how harmless I am. No witch, I hope you think I am. For shame that youth, who would be brave knight, should fear a lady, and in especial one so young as I." "I fear you not," replied Alan hotly. "Then perhaps you dislike me?" the minx questioned innocently. "Certes, no. How could I?" the guileless youth replied. "Then you do like me?" "Although I doubt I find any pride in that, since I must need force the words from you." At a loss now, the lad could not answer, for the girl had better of him because of her quick tongue, and he found she twisted his words and meaning to suit her taste. Yet finally she turned the talk, and so Alan found himself telling her of his high hopes. So simply, too, without boasting, he told her of the fine words of Arthur to him and last, because he had made its deep impress upon him, he spoke of Merlin's dream. And of this Josalind, now serious and wide-eyed, questioned him closely, and soon knew all that he did. So now Percival uprose and made ready to return. So now Percival uprose and made ready to return to his duties. So therefore too did Alan, and found he now felt more at ease and without constraint of the girl. I like you, Alan, and I say it though I should make it harder for you to know than it was for me. I give you my friendship, and if it help you, take this ring and wear it. May it serve you in time of stress, and at all times consider it token of your lady. And then once again, the laughing, teasing minx, she added, Yet, after all, you are but a boy, and I am no less a girl. Yet, let us make believe. You a bold knight, and I your lady. Mayhap it may be true some day. So she was gone now to her mother, leaving Alan with stirred feelings and somewhat in a dream too, for Sir Percival had to call twice to him before he mounted his own horse. And even as they made their way, he turned his head back to see if he could perceive aught of this strange girl, and thought he saw a waving hand, but was not sure. Cute. All right, we are kind of at a nice stopping point. So we read 6 chapters in the first half of today. I think what we should do is take a little break. I'm due for an ad break anyway. I'm going to take a little break and go to the bathroom, top off my water, and when I come back, we shall read another 6-7 chapters, shall we say? And that'll put us about halfway through the book. So, hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back here, and when I return, we shall return to chapter 7. So, remember, during the break, use the restroom, grab water, grab a snack, do whatever it is you need to get through the ads, and when we come back, we shall return to the story. Hello? Okay. If I... There we go. So we are returning to In the Court of King Arthur, if it wasn't already obvious on every page of this book. Um, so I forgot to post about the reading today on social media. It's one thing after another. Maybe it's because we're coming off of a long weekend. Maybe my head is filled with my previously on the Court of King Arthur. Do. Yeah. I don't know. I've got a lot of ideas and things swirling around in my head, and I feel like I've got too many irons in the fire. I've got travel plans, multiple art commissions cooking right now. I've got plans for books that I want to read. I'm going to be going on vacation, and I'll be gone for about 3 weeks. And during that time, I'll have on YouTube Sense and Sensibility and the
Hydrate or
Spooktober.
dihydrate?
Of course. And the Spooktober series will be posting all the things. In Spooktober, the Picture of Dorian Gray and The Vampire by William Polidori. Thank you for the head pats. Will be posted on my YouTube channel. They are just the plain VODs. Yes. Big stretch, Monoma. You got it. So there is every other day I'll have a VOD posted, just the raw VOD from Twitch, because I feel like the stories still need to be told and people can still watch them. So if you're not already familiar with my socials, Jules, can I get an exclamation point socials? Check out my YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, yada yada. I'm bad at the social media part. I'm great at the book reading, but the advertising myself bit, I struggle. But we are returning to chapter 7. Thank you, Fallen. And let's see. We are on over here. Click that. Chapter 7, the tournament. And we return to the that just sounds odd. Return to the story in the court of King Arthur. There we go. All men about advertising. Fair, Deus, fair. On the first of the 3 days of the tournament, there were great feats of wrestling and trials of archery. So too did yeomen prove their skill with mace and clubs. Foot races were many, and constant flow of ale and food, so that none among the yeomen, and even of the varlets, fought aught to want. Many fools there were too, and these pleased all mightily. But as the day advanced, of all the yeomen but a half-dozen remained for the wrestling, and for each of these but one there was high acclaim from those other yeomen who were there, and from such knights as owed fealty to self-same banner, and of the archers too, but very few remained for last tests of skill. For the one yeoman who wore green tunic and red cap, there was none to cheer. A stranger, he kept silent, and yet was equally skillful with the best. He had entered himself for the archery prize and for the wrestling. "Dost know this knave?" asked King Arthur of Sir Percival. "Only that he belongs not to any of us of the Round Table," replied Percival. "Is he, forsooth, one of your men, worthy Bon?" "I would he were, Arthur, yet is he not." Now Sir Percival rode forward and divided these last 6 wrestlers into teams. Yet did this man prove victor, for he had a wondrous hold with which none of the others knew. And when he had won, so turned he to watch and join in the archery. And as he watched came their knaves to him and mocked him. "Faith, though you wrestle well," one spoke, "it doth not make you an archer, for here you find true archery, than which none can do better." "And I carry a club I would fain try on your thick skull," said another, who was even less gentle spoken. Hmm. Of a good time, my friend, and you may, replied the lone knave. No such time befits the same as now, replied the first knave. If they will wait for my trial with bow and arrow, I would be the last to keep you waiting. So spoke the stranger. So then one of the knaves hurried away and received permission. Then furnish me a club, said the stranger. Here then is mine, offered the third knave. Yet, forsooth, the club was but a sorry one, and so the unknown would not use it. Then show you a coward's heart, replied he who would strive with him, and then the three rushed upon the stranger and would do him hurt. So now came bearing down on the three none other than Allen, who had overheard the parley. Parley? Yeah, parley. For shame, knaves. Yeah, none other than Allen, who had overheard the parley. For shame, knaves, no true men would treat strangers so. He asks nothing more than is fair. Give him a club of his choosing. Of a faith, young master, this quarrel is none of yours, and warrants no interference. Leave this fellow to us, and we shall give him clubbing of his choosing. And the men, and the man who addressed the boy, though he looked not straight at him, growled surlily. Surlily? Surlily. What a word. Growled surlily. I shall give you a thrashing, fool, unless you do my bidding, replied the boy hotly. But the three surly brutes moved uneasily, and then came Sir Percival forward. And what have we here? What have we here? He asked. So Allen waited for the men to say, but they, now frightened, made no spoken word. Yeah. The heat 5-0 arrived, and suddenly they got real quiet. These knaves would play foul tricks on this strange fellow. This one would strive with him, and yet would not offer other club than this. And when the stranger asked to have one of his choice, they called him coward and would beat him. And I doubt not, fools, this club you offer will not stand one blow. So Percival brought it down on the first knave's head, and lo, though the blow was not a hard one, yet did the club break in two. So methought. Now go you, Allen, get club that will do, and then will you, stranger, give this villain a sound trouncing. And so Sir Percival stayed, so that the troublemakers did not depart. And so Allen brought a club which suited the stranger. Now did the two battle long and well. Both the stranger and he who fought with him were of great strength, and each was exceeding quick. As wood struck wood, and each tried to get full blow upon the other, so turned all eyes upon the two, and except for glancing blows, neither could bring the other down. And though the sparks flew, yet each... Why would sparks fly? All right. And though the sparks flew, yet each held his club and was hardly hurt. So now they rested for a few moments. And while they waited, the stranger turned to Allen and spoke. I thank you for your brave upstanding of me, young master, and I hope some day I may serve you equally well. Oh, that would make sense. So like the tops of the clubs were wrapped in iron banded. Yeah, that would make them strike and spark. Hadn't considered that. Good call. And I hope some day I may serve you equally well. You are a worthy man. Serve me now by trouncing the knave who battles with you. I can but try, yet right skillful is the fellow. So they turned to again, yet this time the stranger fought the better. Soon the other was forced back, foot by foot, and even as the stranger seemed to have all the best of it, his foot seeming slipped, and he went to his knees. Fiercely the other came upon him, yet as he came closer, the stranger's club moved swiftly. From out the seeming victor's hand flew his mighty club, and next second found him clubbed to the ground, senseless. Screw chaos. Oh my goodness. Sheepy, welcome in. Hello, Raiders. Hello, my name is Vexing Cat. Welcome in. I am a booktuber here on Twitch. I am currently reading In the Court of King Arthur.
Did you like the taste?
Ah, yes.
My lips
Aw.
taste like whatever.
Sheepy with
The
Omni.
purple lips.
Such a cute game. Oh, you were playing Final Fantasy.
Mouth
You had a
full-
cookie.
Yeah, kinda. Delicious.
Delicious woo.
I wish to taste more of you. Nom, 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 nom.
No, 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 no.
Like spaghetti.
My wife! Aw, Sheepy, you say the sweetest things. Well, it's always a pleasure seeing you and getting to have you here. For those of you not familiar with Sheepy's content, variety streamer, amazing artist, super talented, adorable sheep VTuber. As you can see, well, maybe not with a giant meme hamster covering her adorable face, but she is just an incredible streamer. And I have been so fortunate to have met her in the last few months. And it has been a joy getting to watch anime and play video games. And she is the one that convinced me to play Lethal Company. I wouldn't without her, I tell you. It is, I'm a big scaredy cat with scary games. And she makes it enjoyable, though somewhat terrifying. Oh, Fallen, thank you for the let's see, gifted. Oh, thank you for the gifted sub to Screw Chaos. I hope Sheepy gets to enjoy the emotes. And if you haven't seen Sheepy's emotes, they're adorable. Which, there should be more of them. We should make that happen, Sheepy. I don't know what we need to do, but yes. I would love more adorable Sheepy emotes. They're so cute. Here, let me grab one. I think I need to renew that. Give me a second. The keys. Yes, the keys is. I'll have to check on that later. Yes. Enjoy the kisses. Oh, man. But yes, we are reading In the Court of King Arthur, as told by Samuel Lowe. And we are in chapter 7, if I remember correctly. So, Sheepy, if you have to, raid and run, I understand. If not, please enjoy the story. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Pardon me. Oh, terrible. Gesundheit. Thank you, Fallen. Fiercely the other came upon him. Yet as he came closer, the stranger's club moved swiftly. From out the seeming victor's hand flew his mighty club, and next second found him clubbed to the ground, senseless. It's interesting how the ink didn't take to the typeset there. Now the stranger sat himself down, for he needed rest sorely, but only for a little while, and thereafter he turned to try his skill with bow and arrow. And though he had shown skill in all of the other feats, he proved his mastery here, for he was wondrous expert in his archery. Here you is fair target, he finally suggested after many trials, and went to distant tree and removed from bough upon it all its leaves but one. Shoot you all at this, and if you bring it down, I will call you skillful. But only one would try for it, and he came close but missed. Now did the stranger raise his own bow, nor did he seem to take aim, but let the arrow fly, and the arrow carried the twig and leaf with it to the ground. Of a truth, said King Arthur, a right worthy knave is that, and I would speak to him. So they brought the stranger before the king. Thou hast done exceeding well this day, fellow. Tell us then the banner that you serve. That I cannot do, for sire, such are my master's commands, yet may I say no knight is more true and worthy. Then must we wait for your master's coming. Go thou hence, and tell your master he can be proud of thee, and take you this bag of gold, besides such other prizes as are yours. So as the knave stood there, the king turned to Sir Dagonet, his jester, who was making himself heard. A fool speaks, sire, yet claim I, like master, like man, so then must this fellow's master be right skilful to hold him. And since this master is not you, nor Sir Launcelot, then I pick him to be Sir Tristram. Fool's reasoning, yet hath it much sense, said the king. Now the stranger left, but ere departing he turned to Alan. I trust, young master, I shall see you again. As to who I am, know you for your own keeping. Fools oft times reason best of all. The yeoman rode far into the forest. Then when he came to a lone habitation, he dismounted. A knight, seated near the small window at the further wall, greeted him as he entered. How did the day turn out? No doubt they trounced you well. No, master, no trouncing did I get. Instead, the good king spoke pleasantly unto me, gave me this bag of gold, and commended me to my master. Furthermore, see you these prizes that are mine? Aye. The yeoman continued, not a bit grieved at the knight's banter. I even heard the king's fool remark that since the man was so good, the master need must be. And then and there he hazarded a shrewd guess that if this master were not the king, nor Sir Launcelot, then it must need be you. Then truly am I in good company. Now then, tell me what news is there of tomorrow. The king of Northgalis desires your aid. That I heard him say. Sir Launcelot is to joust for Codorus, as is Sir Palomides. Sir Palomides, and these two of a truth make it one-sided. Worthy Governale, prove again my faith in you. Procure for me a shield, one that holds no insignia, so that I may enter the lists unbeknownst to any. I would not have them know I am Tristram, so that it may be my good fortune to joust with many knights who know me not. That, good master, is not hard. I know a place where I can obtain a black shield, one that holds no other remembrance upon it. It should serve your purpose well. By my faith, did ever better knave serve master? Right proud of you am I, Governale, and would that I too had bags of gold I could give you for your loyal service. Nay, master, such service as I give I measure not by aught that you can pay. That do I know full well, else had you left me long since, for little have I paid. Sir Tristram answered soft-spoken and with great affection. Oh dear, the fool is right. Was Sir Tristram the whole time. I wonder why he hasn't made himself known to the king and the tourney, and instead sent Governale in his place as his yeoman. It's interesting. He may be resting. I mean, he just had that fight with that king that was holding Lady Beatrice, or Princess Beatrice, forgive me. Remember the name, cannot remember what her title was, but the good lady was rescued from the dungeons by Sir Tristram, and it sounds like he may have taken the worst of it, even leaving the kingdom of Cornwall despite it. Anyway, you're between chapters, so as a friendly reminder, hydrate, caffeinate, grab a snack, do whatever you need to do to enjoy the story. And I am going to hydrate. Fresh water. Excellent. All right. We are on to Chapter 8, Sir Tristram's Prowess. So the next day, Sir Tristram, carrying the black shield, went forth to enter the lists, and none knew him. The great conflict had already begun when he arrived. He found himself a place among those knights who jousted for Northgalis, and very soon all perceived that this knight with the black shield was skilful and strong. Well and lustily did he battle, and none could withstand him. Yet did he not meet with Sir Launcelot, nor with Sir Palomides on this first day, nor did any know him, but all marvelled at his worth and bravery. So, as the day was done, this unknown and his servant Gouvernail rode back into the forest, and none followed him, for he was a brave knight, and all respected him and his desire to stay unknown. Yet did the judges declare the side of Northgalis victor, and as for single knight, the most worthy was the unknown, and he was called the Knight of the Black Shield. Now, as the judges' duties were done, King Arthur showed how wroth he was that that strange knight had carried off such great honours. Yet do we hope tomorrow shall show our other reckoning than this, for good Launcelot shall be there, and so shall we. On the morn the heralds called forth the brave knights once again, and with the call came the Knight of the Black Shield. Sir Palomides was await for him, eager and alert to be the first to joust, and so they, like great hounds, went at each other. And truly Sir Tristram found his foe a worthy one. Long did they joust without either besting the other, until he of the Black Shield, by great skill and fine force, brought down a mighty blow, and did smite Sir Palomides over his horse's croup. Crop, I think, over his horse's croup. I'm pretty sure it's croup. Over his horse's croup. But now, as the night fell, King Arthur was there, and he rode straight at the unknown knight, shouting, "Make thee ready for me!" Then the brave sovereign, with eager heart, rode straight at him, and as he came, his horse reared high, and such was the king's strength he unhorsed Sir Tristram. Now, while the latter was on foot, rode full tilt upon him Sir Palomides, and would have borne him down, but that Sir Tristram was aware of his coming, and so lightly, stepping aside, he grasped the arm of the rider and pulled him from his horse. The two dashed against each other on foot, and with their swords battled so well that kings and queens and knights and their ladies stood and beheld them. But finally the unknown smote his foe 3 mighty blows, that he fell upon the earth grovelling. Then did they all truly wonder at his skill, for Sir Palomides was thought by many to be the most skilful knight in Britain. A knight now brought horse for Sir Tristram, for now all knew that it must be he. So too was horse brought for Sir Palomides. Great was the latter's ire, and he came at Sir Tristram. Again, full force he bore his lance at the other, and so anew they fought. Yet Sir Tristram was the better of the two, and soon with great strength he got Sir Palomides by the neck, and with both hands, and so pulled him clean out of his saddle. Then in the presence of them all, and well they marvelled at this deed, he rode 10 paces, carrying the other in this manner, and let him fall as he might. Sir Tristram turned now again, and saw King Arthur with naked sword ready for him. The former halted not, but rode straight at the king with his lance. But as he came, the king by wondrous blow sent his weapon flying, and for a moment Sir Tristram was stunned. And as he sat there upon his horse, the king rained blows upon him, and yet did the latter draw forth his sword and assail the king, so hard that he need must give ground. Then were these two divided by the great throng. But Sir Tristram, lion-hearted, rode here and there, and battled with all who would. And of the knights who opposed him he was victor of 11, and all present marvelled at him, at his strength, and at his great deeds. Yet had he not met Sir Launcelot, who elsewhere was meeting with all who would strive with him. Not many, however, would joust with him, for he was known as the very bravest and most skilful. So, as he sat there all at ease, there came the great acclaim for the Knight of the Black Shield. Nor did Sir Launcelot know him to be Sir Tristram, but he got his great lance and rushed toward the cry. When he saw this strange knight, he called to him, "Knight of the Black Shield, prepare for me." And then came such jousting as had never been seen, for each knight bowed low his head and came at the other like the wind. When they met it was very like thunder. Flashed lance on shields and armor so that sparks flew, and each would not give to the other one step, but by great skill with shield did avoid the best of each other's blows. Then did Sir Tristram's lance break in two, and Sir Launcelot, through further ill fortune, wounded Sir Tristram in his left side. But notwithstanding, the wounded knight brought forth his sword and rushed daringly at the other with a force that Sir Launcelot could not withstand, and gave him a fearful blow. Low in his saddle sagged Sir Launcelot, exceeding weak for many moments. Now Sir Tristram left him so, and rode into the forest, and after him followed Gouvernail his servant. Sore wounded was Sir Tristram, yet made he light of it. Sir Launcelot on his part recovered soon, and turned back to the tourney, and thereafter did wondrous deeds, and stood off many knights together and singly. Now again was the day done, and the tournament too, and to Sir Launcelot was given full honour as victor of the field. But naught would Sir Launcelot have of this. He rode forthwith to his king. "Sire, it is not I, but this knight with the black shield, who has shown more marvellous skill of all. And so I will not have these prizes, for they do not belong to me." "Well spoken, Sir Launcelot, and like thy true self," replied the king. "So since this knight is gone, will you go forth with us within the fortnight in search for him? And unless we are in great error, we shall find the knight of the black shield no more, no less than Sir Tristram." Man, jousting is heavy business. Like, the fact that the king just got in there with his lance and with his sword too, that's just wild to me. But King Arthur was a true knight before he was king. I don't know. I think the prestige and the honor bestowed to knights, that is kind of a fallen concept these days. But I have seen some amazing jousting tournaments where, like, they have lance after lance, and you know, if you strike true, your lance will shatter, and it's really cool to watch. And if you dehorse the other lancer, if memory serves, I think there's like a tradition of like you get to keep his horse if you knock him off of it. There's some really interesting traditions within knighthood and jousting and tourneys in general. Anyway, I am gonna stretch here. So we have about let's say 50-ish minutes. I am trying to get to around like, let's see if we can get 3 more chapters in, maybe 4. And then we shall put it up for today and find somebody worthy for the tourney to continue the story. Kind of keep an eye on things. Jules, if you have a moment, can you craft some sort of fancy message? Maybe we can go visit one of the folks that we, let's see. We've got Bonecaller's doing Slurping Soul, so some looks like Soul Reaver. Sov is doing Chained Together. Oh no. Arrow's doing Contraband Police. That would be kind of an interesting segue. Mayu's playing Cult of the Lamb. Omni Baldur's Gate. Grim Vanity is Love Ghosty. I feel like Knights in Battle probably will look at Soul Legacy of Soul Reaver 2 remaster. I think Bonecaller would be a good choice. But yes, if somebody could craft me a clever raid message for on the hour, we'll we'll raid over to Bonecaller after this. All right. Let's see. So we are on to chapter 9, The Kitchen Boy. Among all those who came to the court of King Arthur at this Pentecost seeking hospitality were 2 strangers in especial, who because of being meanly garbed and of seeming awkwardness brought forth the mockery and jest of Sir Kay the Seneschal. Nor did Sir Kay mean harm thereby, for he was knight who held no villainy. Yet was his tongue overly sharp, and too oft disposed to sting and mock. 2. The manner of their coming was strange. One was a youth of handsome mien. Despite his ill garb, he seemed of right good worship. Him our young page Allen found fallen in a swoon, very weak, and near unto death, asprawl on the green about a mile from the castle. Thinking that the man was but a villain, he would fain have called one of the men at arms to give him aid, but that something drew him to closer view, and then the boy felt certain that this was no villain. Born for his face bespoke gentle breeding, so he himself hastened for water, and by much use of it the man soon opened his eyes and found himself. So he studied the lad as he helped him to greater ease, but either through his great weakness or no desire he did not speak. Stranger, said Allen to the man, if there is aught that I can do for you, or if I can help you in any way, I give you offer of service. Mayhap of the many knights who are here, there is one whose aid you may justly claim. The stranger held answer for many moments. Then he spoke. There are those here, lad, whose service I may well accept, for they hold ties of blood to me, but I would not. Rather, if your patience will bear with me, I would fain. Oh my. Grim. Welcome in, Grim. Everyone, this is Grim Vanity. So this is another amazing creator that I met through the Underrealm, namely, yes. We need to get you some more clips. Trist, chop chop, more clips. So Trist Trice, as you well know, is also from Underrealm and is part of Gen 2. Grim Vanity is their lady. Though, to be fair, a good number of us try to steal her, and I think keeping him on his toes makes sure that his lady gets the very best attention. Hi. Welcome in, Grim. I am currently reading In the Court of King Arthur. And it's an interesting story, this telling from 1918 by Samuel Lowe. I wish I knew more about the author, but it is an interesting story. It reads really gently. I think this would have been a great story. Make sure the rest of you are in danger. Well, that's our favorite rival for you. Our antagonist cockatrice. He is amazing. If you guys haven't seen Grimm's content before, they're a newer streamer. They just made affiliate. They do a variety of games and are like chill vibes and super sweet. And then Trist, of course, is extra spicy and always a good time. Plays a variety of games and is very chill. Oh, this keeps happening. I'm never gonna finish the story. Oh, goodness. Steph, welcome in. Steph Sue, everyone. Hello, Raiders. My name is Vexing Cat. Welcome to my stream. I am currently reading In the Court of King Arthur. Oh, excellent.
3 because you're working. Then what is number 2? What is -3? What? Okay, I don't want a single one of you to answer what I just said. Okay? You hear me?
Aw, thank you for the follow.
I don't want a single person to answer what just came out of my mouth.
Oh, that's quite silly. I'll have to figure out placement for some of those alerts. But yes, welcome in, Raiders. I'm another booktuber here on Twitch. I typically read under the writing and reading category. I namely do reading streams, but I occasionally play video games, namely which I play a bi-weekly D&D campaign with Valis underscore VT is the DM and 5 other players. So it's a pretty big campaign, and we're like 30, 35, 36 bi-weekly sessions in. But you're you're welcome to sit back and relax. Steph, if you need to like raid and run, I completely understand. Same with Grim Vanity. If you need to read and run, I totally understand. If you can stay, please enjoy the story. Hydrate, caffeinate, grab a snack, do whatever it is you need to relax and enjoy the reading. All right, let's return to the story and all therein. The stranger held for many moments, then he spoke. There are those here, lad, whose service I may well accept, for they hold ties of blood to me. But I would not. Rather, if your patience will bear with me, I would fain have your help, so that I can appear in the presence of the king this day. For so it is ordained, and by appearing there I shall find some part of my vow accomplished. On this holy day I have boon to ask from your king. Hi, Steph. Enjoy your lurk. So shall I, and rightly glad, lead you there. Good sir, my name is Alan. I am page to Sir Percival, and I would bespeak your name. I beg of thee, Alan, think not that I am churlish, and yet must I withhold my name, for it is part of the vow I have made. Nor, forsooth, am I therefore the less grateful. No offence take I, friend, so when you feel disposed, I shall guide your steps for audience with our good king. The stranger, weak and spent, leaning mightily on his young friend, made his way to the great hall. And as we have recounted, though all were struck by oddness and meanness of the stranger's clothes, yet only Sir Kay made point to taunt him. Yet did he make no answer to these taunts.
I'm just here to dine on that grey matter.
Tasty. Tasty, tasty grey matter. And as we have recounted, though all were struck by oddness and meanness of the stranger's clothes, yet only Sir Kay made point to taunt him. Yet did he make no answer to these taunts, but waited with a great meekness for his turn before the king. And that he should wait with such meekness was strange, for he seemed to be a high-born knight. There were many who sought audience with the king, and it was long before the stranger's turn came. You do this on purpose. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well, Hazard. For those of you not familiar, if I can get a shout out for Black Hazard as well, another variety streamer here on Twitch. I think I met Black Hazard through Bonecaller's community originally. We played some Valheim together, at the very least. Going to gunsmith school. Oh, that's exciting. I think my dad used to do, I don't know, he used to build his own like shotguns and whatnot that he would sell at market. He did some pretty cool like boring, I know this is gonna sound weird, boring the barrels of guns, and then he would do these really elaborate custom stocks on the guns with like embedded metal filigree. I bet if I looked around I could probably find them somewhere. There were many who sought audience with the king, and it was long before the stranger's turn came. Weak he still was, but he made no complaint, and when others would crowd before him so that they could speak the sooner to King Arthur, he did not chide them, but permitted it. At last Sir Launcelot came forward, for he had observed this, and made each of them find the place which was first theirs, so that the stranger's turn came as it should. Weak though he was, he walked with a great firmness to the dais, and none there saw his poor clothes for the fineness of him. The king turned to him, and he nodded kindly. "Speak, friend. In what way can we be of service to thee?" "Sire," said the stranger, "I come to ask of thee 3 boons. One I ask this day, and on this day 1 year I shall come before you and crave your favor for the other 2. If the boon you ask, stranger, is aught we can grant, we shall do so cheerfully, for on this day we heed all prayers." "I ask very little, sire." "This and no more do I wish, that you give me food and drink for 1 year, and that on this day a year hence I shall make my other 2 prayers." "It is indeed little you ask. Food and drink we refuse none. It is here. Yet while your petition might well beseem a knave, thou seemeth of right good worship, a likely youth. 2, none fairer, and we shall fain your prayer had been for horse and armor. Yet may you have your wish. Sir Kay," and the king turned to his seneschal, "see you to it that this stranger finds his wish satisfied." So the king turned to others present, for of those who sought audience there were many, and so forgot all of the fair youth for many a day. Sir Kay laughed mockingly at the unknown. "Of a truth, this is villain born, for only such would ask for food and drink of the king. So therefore he shall find place in our kitchen. He shall help there. He shall have fat broth to satisfy him, and in a year no hog shall be fatter, and we shall know him as the kitchen boy." Sir Kay frowned Sir Launcelot. "I pray you cease your mocking. It is not seemly. This stranger, whosoever he may be, has right to make whatsoever request he wishes." "Nay, Sir Launcelot. Of a truth, as he is, so has he asked. Yet I like not your mocking," said Sir Launcelot as he looked frowningly at Sir Kay, while next to him stood Sir Gawain and Sir Percival, neither of whom could scarce contain himself. "It is well we know you, Sir Kay, or by our guardian saints we would make you answer for your bitter tongue. But that we know it belies a heart of kindness, we would long since have found quarrel with you." So spoke Sir Percival, and Sir Gawain nodded in assent. "Say not any quarrel for any seeming knowledge of me, kind friends," frowned back Sir Kay. But the 2 knights moved away. Sir Kay was of great shame, and so to cover it, he turned to the stranger in great fury. "Come then to your kennel, dog," he said. Out flashed the sword of Sir Gawain, yet did Sir Launcelot withhold him. "Sir, I beg you to do me honour of feasting with us this day." "I thank you, Sir Launcelot. Yet must I go with Sir Kay and do his bidding. There do be knights well worth their places at the Round Table, and I note right well that they set high example to those who are still but lads and who are to become knights in good time. So to you all I give my thanks." Then followed the stranger after Sir Kay, while the 3 knights and Alan watched him go and marvelled at his meekness. To be meek. Let's see. Good stretch, a little bit of hydration between chapters. Good Wasser. It's good water. All right, we are on to chapter 10, Pentecost. And make sure you're taking care of yourselves and enjoying the story. And so in turn came the second stranger before King Arthur, poorly clothed, too, yet had his coat once been rich cloth of gold. Now it sat most crookedly upon him and was cut in many places, so that it but barely hung upon his shoulders. Sire, said the stranger, you are known everywhere as the noblest king in the world, and for that reason I come to you to be made knight. Knights, good friend, replied the king, are not so easily made. Such knights as we do appoint must first prove their worth. We know thee not, stranger, and know not the meaning of thy strange garb, for truly thou art a strange sight. I am Brunor Le Noir, and soon you will know that I am of good kin. This coat I wear is token of vow made for vengeance. So I found it on my slain father, and I seek his slayer. This day, O king, I go forth content, if you make promise that should I perform knightly deed, you will dub me knight of yours. Go thou forth then. We doubt not that thou wilt prove thy valor and be worthy of knighthood. Yet proof must be there. On this self-same day, Breonor Le Noir departed. Next morn the king, together with Sir Launcelot, Sir Percival, Sir Gawain, Sir Pellamore, Sir Gilbert, Sir Neil, and Sir Dagonet, indeed, a right goodly party, prepared to depart, nor did they propose to return until they met with Sir Tristram, for King Arthur was of great desire to have this good knight as one of the Round Table. Now, as these, the flower of King Arthur's court, were waiting for Sir Dagonet, who was to be with them and who had delayed, Sir Launcelot saw Alan, the boy, watching them from the side. Saw, too, the great wish in the lad's eyes, nor did Alan see himself observed, for Sir Launcelot was not then with the others. A thought came to this fine, spirited knight, and it brought great and smiling good humour to his lips. He rode to Sir Percival's side, and the two whispered for many moments. Then did the two speak to the king, and he laughed, but did not turn to gaze at the boy. Sir Gawain now joined in the whispering. Then did all four laugh with great merriment. So Sir Pellamore and the other knights inquired the cause for the merriment, and, being told, laughed too. Kindly was the laughter, strong men these who could yet be gentle. Sir Launcelot now turned and rode hard at the boy. And wherefore, lad? And dark was his frown, and greatly wroth he seemed. Do you stand here watching, rude staring yours, and no fit homage to pay your betters? Perchance we may all be displeased, the king, Sir Percival, and all of us. Now the lad's eyes clouded. To have displeased these knights, the greatest men in all the world, for so he thought them. Then and there he wished he could die. Woe had the knight's words brought him. Indeed, and I mean no disrespect, Sir Launcelot, indeed, and said no more, for he knew he would weep if he spoke further. So he saw not the dancing laughter in the knight's eyes, nor the wide grins on the faces of the others. Yet we must punish thee, lad. So then prepare you to accompany us. Get your horse at once, nor will we listen to any prayer you may make for not going because of your youth. Agape. Alan turned to look at him, for he knew he could not have heard aright. But now, as he looked, he saw that Sir Launcelot was laughing, and then, as he turned wondering, he saw his own lord and the king and the other knights watching him with great glee. You mean, then, that I may go with all of you? And then, so that there would be no chance of its being otherwise, he rushed in mad haste to get his horse. Joy was the wings which made his feet fly. He came back in quick time, a bit uncertain, riding forward slowly, diffidently, and stopped a little way from them, awaiting word. Then did Sir Launcelot ride to him and place kindly arm about the youth, and bring him among them all. Now, Sir Dagonet was with them, and they rode forth. With the equipage came the hounds, for the first day of their journey was to be given over to hunting. Then came also the master of the hounds, who was to return with them at the close of the hunt. None other than the great Lancelot rode with Alan, and none sat straighter and more at ease in his saddle than the boy as they passed the queen, the Lady Lady Oland, her 2 daughters, and many other ladies of the realm. Nor did the boys see any other than the minx, Josalind. But she did not seem to find him among the knights. Yet he wondered how she could help but see him. He would have liked to call to her, "See, here am I among these brave knights." Instead, he rode past, very erect. If she would not see him, what matter, since he was there one of the company? Then of a sudden she smiled straight at him, so that for him was the full glory of the world, and we doubt not, for that smile, he would have fought the bravest knight in all the world and found man's strength therein. Now the company found itself in the woods, and many hours' journey away, so they rode hard, for they liked not to tarry on the road. Long after midday, King Arthur and his men spread out for the hunt. The forest in which they now found themselves held game and wild animals in plenty. Soon thereafter did the hounds give tongue, for they had found the scent. No mean prey had they found, though, for the quarry gave them a long race. Close behind the hounds came King Arthur, and almost as close Sir Percival and Sir Lancelot. Now at last the stag, a noble animal with wondrous horns, lithe body, and beautifully shaped limbs, was at bay. Straight and true, at its throat flew the leader of the pack, and sank its teeth deep into it, while above the king blew loud and long the death note of the chase. No need for other hounds, nor for weapons of the men. Dark had stolen over the forest, when the men with huge appetites came to sup. Juicy venison steak was there, so was the wild duck and the pheasant in plenty. To the full they ate, as did the few men at arms that were with them. Yet none stayed awake long thereafter. It had been an arduous day. Alan alone was wide awake. His eyes would not close, and he knew of a certainty that he was the most fortunate lad in all the world. When he should become a man, he would be, well, he was not certain whether he would be like unto the king, Sir Percival, or Sir Lancelot. Yes, he did know he would be like them all. Now there came mixed thoughts of a maid who waved her hand and smiled at him, and he felt of a precious ring upon his finger. So now his eyes closed. He found himself seeking the Holy Grail, and during all of the night dreamed that he had found it. Can you imagine to be taken up on horse, like by the people that you most revered? That would be such a like goal, right? For any young man, young woman, young person, to be like surrounded by your heroes, to go on adventure with the people that you most admire. It would be amazing. I think it would cement in his mind forever that this is what he wants to do. These are the people he most admires and wants to emulate. These are the kindnesses and strengths that he himself wants to garner in his own growth. That's an interesting idea. Maybe we need to have more heroes. Maybe we need to have more examples of people for modern day children to admire and be like, yeah, I want to be like so and so. You know, be they actor, be they musician, be they politician, maybe. That's a tough road, but I think fighting for what's right is always good. Be surrounded by, my goodness, Kairu, spicy. Goodness. All right, we are on to chapter 11. We have 40 minutes. We can definitely do this one and one more, and we'll wrap it up for today. So, we are on to chapter 11. Alan meets a stranger. The noble cortege, after the first day's hunt, continued on its journey. It had reached Leek in Strafford on the morn of the 5th day ere word came of Sir Tristram. Here was heard from home Sir Tristram was then on way to Scotland, and from still others that he was bound for, I'm going to go with Keen Canadon in Wales. Oh, that's a word. Keen Canadon in Wales. By my faith, spoke Sir Gawain, there are none that are more ready to testify to Sir Tristram's greatness and ability too, yet still have I many doubts as to his being both on way to Scotland and to Wales as well. If it were left to me, said Sir Dagonet, I would hie me to Ireland. A likely spot to find him, say I, for there are none who have said that they know of the good knight's journey thitherward. We for ourselves think it's best, the king interrupted, to tarry here this day. Our comrade Pellamore expresses great desire to have us partake of his hospitality, and we are fain so to do. What say you? It were wisdom to do so, methinks, agreed Sir Percival. Tomorrow we may find here some further news of Sir Tristram's way. Aye, Sir Knights, added Sir Launcelot, for we must know whether we continue our travel north or west from this point. So all of them were housed within the castle walls, and Sir Pellamore spread bounteous feast before his guests at midday, for he held it in high honour to be host to such as these. Now, as the repast had been completed, Alan grew restless. He was of a mind to ride forth, and so craved permission from Sir Percival, who gave ready consent. Oh, thank you for the follow, Ira Hart. I hope you enjoy the stream. Forth he went, and rode for many an hour, and then, since the day had great heat, he found himself turn drowsy. Thereupon, finding a pleasant, shaded spot, he quickly made a couch of cedar boughs, and soon was fast asleep. It seemed to the boy he had slept but few moments when his eyes opened wide with the certainty that other eyes were directed upon him. Nor was this mere fancy nor dream. Near him sat a monk, and from under the black hood the face that peered forth at him was gaunt, cadaverous, with eyes that seemed to burn straight through the lad. But for the eyes, this figure could well have been carven, so still and immovable did it sit there and gaze at the youth. Nor did the monk speak for many minutes, even though he must have known that the boy was awake and watching him. The sun now hung low in the sky. Alan knew that he must have been asleep for at least 2 hours. He knew, too, that he should rise and return to the castle, since the hour was already late and his time overspent. Yet did the monk's eyes hold him to the spot, nor was the thing that held him there fear. Rather could it be described as the feeling one has before a devout, sacred, and holy presence. Despite the holy man's unworthy aspect, he inspired no fear in the lad. Alan, boy, and the lad wondered that the monk knew him by name. 2 things I know have been chief in your thoughts these days. Kindly was the monk's tone. What then are these 2 things? No thought had the boy of the oddness of the monk's words, nor of his questions, nor of the fact that the monk seemed to be there present. Somehow the whole of it took on some great purport. Alan stopped, not to wonder which the 2 things the monk mentioned were uppermost in his mind, but straightway made reply. Strange monk, I think and dream of the Holy Grail, and think too of Yosalind, sister to my lord Percival, and of naught else so much. But pray you, Holy Father, who are you? Truth, lad, as to who I am, or as to where I come, know you this. I come to you from the same place as do all dreams. I, lad, dreaming and fancying shall ever be yours. These, son, shall bring you the visions of tomorrow and many another day. I have come to tell you this, lad. But 2 years or more, and you shall start in earnest on your search for the Grail, and whether you find the same I shall not and cannot say, for the finding depends on you. The way shall be hard, youth of many dreams, though you will have help and guidance too, but the great inspiration for it all shall come to you from the second of these, your 2 big thoughts. I sought you many a day, lad. Merlin has sounded the message for me to all the knights of Britain. Once before, years ago, I came to find the likely seeker for the Grail, and thought that I had found him. Yet did the crucible's test find some alloy, and so I had need to come again. Then, said Alan, but barely comprehending, you are none other than Sir Joseph of Arimathea. Lad, it matters not as to who and what I am. It is of you we are now concerned. Dear, dear lad, they shall name you again, and the name which shall be yours shall ever after be symbolic with the very best that manhood holds. Go your way now, for I must speak with many more this day ere I return. A knight comes but now, with whom I must hold counsel, and I would fain speak to him alone. True, father, I had best go, for Sir Percival will think me thoughtless, if not worse. As to what you have said, I can do but the best which is in me, and ever seek to make that best better. And so I ask your blessing. The boy knelt. The monk, lean, black-cowled, eyes glowing with a light that held the supernatural, placed hand upon the boy's head and gave him blessing. So then the boy mounted horse and was away. He rode hard, for he held great anxiety to return quickly, and all the time he rode he thought of things the strange monk had told him. Some of it he did not altogether understand. That was because of his youthfulness. It was now to come back to him when many months had passed. This, however, he knew. He was destined to make search for the Holy Grail, for so the holy man had ordained. Sir Percival, a bit anxious, was waiting for the lad when he returned. I went far and then fell asleep, Alan explained. Nor did I awaken until the sun hung low. He did not speak of the meeting with the monk. It is well you are back, lad, for I was fast growing worried over the lateness of your return. Turn in then. I wot not, but that food will be found for you on which you can sup. Sir Launcelot went forth some hours ago. I fancy he went in search of you, though he would not admit this to be the purpose of his departure. Ah, Sir Launcelot is so sweet. At least in this telling he is. All right, we are between chapters. We have one more to read, and then we'll go raid over. I think if Bonecollar's still streaming, I think he's playing like a armored fighting, like Souls-like game, I believe. Reverence of something? I don't know. I am definitely fading fast. So, I have one more chapter in me left today. Stay cozy, Revy. I have one more chapter, and then we shall, hie off onto our raid. Raid message. What shall we say? Fight the good fight, Vex. I will try. It is a good story, though. It is interesting. I have to say, Samuel Lowe's approach to this story, it has a lot of archaic word usage and pronunciation, but at the same time, he has this flow to the story that it just spins up a tale that draws you in. Yeah, it's really good. Okay. Let's see. What shall we do here? All right. Chapter 12. The Stranger and Sir Lancelot. Let us then turn to Sir Lancelot, now making his way along the road over which Alan had been sent to depart. Though the knight had denied that he purposed to seek the lad, yet had his horse taken that way. A growing fondness for the boy, which he had not made too obvious, for it was not his wont to show too easily his feelings. Display or show of emotion ever embarrassed him. He had noted the long absence of Alan, and so had mounted his horse, intent to all appearance on a short canter. Halfway to where Alan had made his couch, the road over which he had ridden branched right and left. Some miles down came together again. Now, when Alan returned, he took the road to his right, having ridden the other way earlier in the day. Sir Lancelot made for the road to the right of him, and so missed the boy returning. Let's see. There we go. He found himself at the place at which the boy had slept. He dismounted to observe more closely. Then he beheld the holy man as he stepped from the shadows. "Good day to you, holy father," the knight greeted him. "God's blessing stay with thee, son. I have been expecting thee. Nay, father, not me. Other knight mayhap, for I knew not myself I would be here." "Yet did I know, Sir Lancelot. You came here to seek the youth Alan, and knew not that you came in obedience to greater will than your own, and having come, you must, prithee, listen to the things that must be told you." Lancelot and the monk spoke sternly, and yet with great sadness. "As measured by men, thou art the bravest knight in Christendom. In Christendom, chivalrous, strong, yet gentle, and ever ready to succor the weak and distressed. Your name shall be emblazoned as symbolic of chivalry." The strange man paused for a time. "I speak now of the Holy Grail," he resumed. "Who would be better fitted to seek and find the Holy Grail? Are there any who hold greater desire to find the same, and who seeks to make himself more worthy? And yet, though you seek until Judgment Day, you will never find it. In the innermost soul of you, you know it to be so. The pity of it." Strange monk, and a dull red mantled the knight's cheeks. "Those are bold words you speak. None but Lancelot himself can tell the things he may or may not do, and since I am not in search of father confessor, nor since I sought not this meeting, I pray thee offer not your counsel nor advice." "The truth, then, seers, Sir Knight." Now the monk's eyes flashed. Straight and tall he stood, and his Icon figure held so much of that which was not earthly that even the mighty Lancelot was daunted. "Who then has more right or reason to tell you of these things? It is I, who first picked you long since as likely finder of the Holy Grail, and when I found you slipping ever so little, and well you know wherein you have failed me, I sent Merlin to all of you. For since he on whom I had built my faith could not measure to the test, I had strong need to find someone else. For Britain must hold the Grail. Somewhere in it there must be the man who measures up to the test, high though it be." "Ah, thank you, Inky. Hello, welcome in." Son, the things you could have done, the fineness of you, coarsened by the temptations you have met and not overcome. the joy you have found in things that are sordid and count for so little. Low hung the knight's head. His anger had left him now. In its stead was a deep humility. Father, you bear my soul, and yet have I striven. High did I hold the ideals which first inspired me. I have overcome much, have tried to keep to the high set purpose, yet I am but common clay after all. Nay, nay, son, I would all men held half thy nobility. Only, and now the monk's tone was again kindly, there are some we weigh on much finer scales than others. We ask more of them, seek more from them, forgive less too. Perhaps we are wrong to desire so much from any mortal soul, yet have we faith. We believe. I find no complaint, Holy Father, in the measure you have set for me, for I saw the things, I had the vision to see them, saw too the things that were wrong, even as I did these things. Yet, my son, a great task shall be yours. Now of the boy Alan, the monk paused. What of him, Father? A fine lad is he, so young, yet is he too to be burdened with great responsibilities? I pray thee, let him keep his youth. Lancelot, my son, when will you grow to thy true self? For there lies your failure, you who took your responsibilities as burdens when you should have found great joy in that they were yours. Yet now listen to me as to this boy Alan. I have seen in him this day, have spoken to him of the Holy Grail, a dreaming youth, yet he is fired by fine inspiration and great ideals. He is ordained to seek it. That holds no strangeness, for there are many such. As to whether he finds it or not is dependent upon him, as it once was upon yourself. And since you cannot find it, seek it as you will, I charge you with helping him keep clean-souled. Should he do so, ere many years will pass, he may find it. For you there will be the joy, the glory of service, of having helped. Without your help, success for him will be so much less likely. Will you help him, Lancelot? Think well before you make reply. Not at once did Sir Lancelot answer, yet it was the best within him that did give him final utterance. I promise you, Father, that such help as I can give the lad, I shall. Much have I learned, and with these things that I have learned we shall be guided, no bitterness mine, since I am not to be the father, to be the finder of the Holy Grail. I pledge you now my aid to Alan. Lancelot, so little fails you for the needed greatness, none have I loved so much. If you have sinned, you have been great and glorious even in the sinning. Never have you been finer than now. Alan will need your help, your strength. There shall be a maid, too, to help him. The threads have been woven for that now. When the time shall come, you will call this lad Galahad, the chaste. Treat him ever as your son, Lancelot. Son and comrade too, he shall be for me. Father, I thank you. So then I go, son. I could not love you more were you less a mortal sinner. Dun dun dun. So now we know what young Alan's new name's going to be. Ooh, so Galahad the Chaste. What a name. Okay, let's see here. What shall we say? Oh man. Lancelot's, his sins are coming to fruition, which means, well, of course, we know what that means. And his great love of Guinevere. Sir Galahad the Virgin. Yes, probably. That's what they called you. Sir Galahad the Chaste, Rev? Really? You were the chaste? Fair enough. I think that Sir Lancelot will be able to prove himself, and if even in the fact that he's not going to be chosen by the Grail, I think the act of raising Alan and keeping him pure of soul, like on his mission, and keeping his motivations directed towards the Grail and his happiness and the good of the country, I think there can be a lot of worth in Lancelot to make up for the misdeeds that he's done, the sins that he has done. Let's see. I think we're gonna go ahead and raid out because I am cooked and I am starving, and it's been 3 hours of beautiful reading from an interesting story and a different telling of King Arthur's story. So let's see. We will bother. I think we had decided on Bone Collar earlier. Neff's up. Let's see. Who shall we bother with this? I guess Bone's been at it for 3 hours too. Heck with it. You know, good to share the love, the care. And he is currently playing as a knight with a sword, battling monsters. So perfect, honestly. Leaving the court of King Arthur for battles unknown. Seems appropriate. Oh man, I am so cheesy. I am so sorry to all of you that have to measure up my strange, silly ideas. Okay. And then throw another raid message. So the raid emote is available for all followers. If you wanted to grab that raid message, I'll slap that in there. More cheese! Once I get my live 2D model, I'm planning on adding the cheese redeem Loria uses, where it just smacks me in the forehead with cheese. That'll be fun. Excellent. Thank you, Revi. Let's start the raid. So grab your raid message. Everyone, it has been an absolute pleasure reading for you today. I will be back on Thursday for more Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. I can taste the end game in that story, and it's going to be so good. And then when we go, I think we have to finish a few different storytellers, and we have to capture a few. I think we're around 30 stories left of the 300, shy of 300 that we had to gather. And each one is slowly growing beyond the scope of its original telling, and it's just a fascinating process. But we'll be continuing more of this next week, more story on Tuesday. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my new dates with my new work schedule. Saturday, we will be returning to the Wild Seas of Terra, which is our One Piece D&D campaign. So look forward to that. I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a great one, and thanks for watching.